break-ins? Y'all haven't told nobody about it?
Close your eyes to get away. Just bang my line and I'll arrange it. Beautiful girl, you stainless.
Hey girlies, it's your girl Trey Monet. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and let's dive straight into this video. So today I'm gonna be giving you the tea about Atlanta.
The tea is exceptionally good today.
So I moved to Atlanta about a year ago from Miami, and let's just go right into my experience. The first thing we're gonna talk about is expenses. All right, so when it comes to leasing an apartment in Atlanta, let me tell you, it is very, very expensive. Now, I don't know if it's because of right now and inflation and everything like that, but I moved from Miami and Atlanta is more expensive than Miami. Huh? Let me tell you why. One thing that I noticed with Atlanta, they have not just like rents, they have gas, valet, trash, parking fees, electricity, sewer and water. Like, there's so many little fees. And so make sure when y'all go to that leasing office, y'all are asking all the questions about fees, because honestly, I feel a little bamboozled with my apartments. I feel like they kind of got me. All right. I just feel like they told me one price, and then after all of the like hidden fees, it ended up being like, how much? Like over 200 more than what it said. So damn! So make sure you're reading and asking all those little questions. When it comes to apartment hunting, make sure you really vet out the complex that you're looking at. You're looking at all the reviews, because you don't want any roaches. Like, Atlanta is surrounded by a lot of nature, and a lot of the complexes are surrounded by a lot of nature. So you don't want any insects or rodents. So make sure you vet the properties out for that. And one of the major things that happened to me was somebody broke into my mailbox, stole $4,000 off of my credit card. Mind you, the leasing office didn't do nothing when I told them about it. They're like, oh yeah, there has been some break-ins. So there's been break-ins, y'all haven't told nobody about it? Because do you really think I would send my credit card to the mailbox knowing that they're breaking into our mailboxes every week? Like, BFFR. That car registration, you gotta come and register your car, that stuff is high, okay? I thought it might be like a few $100s, like nothing too crazy. I haven't done it yet. Don't be like me, I haven't done it yet, but my friend has done it and it was like $600. So I will say, when it comes to the security deposit, Atlanta is a little bit flexible. Like in Miami, you had to pay first month, last month, and the security deposit. I've noticed in Atlanta, they usually have it where it's like you can pay the security deposit, or you can just put down like $300 or $400, and then it just will be like non-refundable. So there is that kind of flexibility when it comes to expenses, which is good, but just keep that in mind. Car insurance. When I first moved here, car insurance wasn't that high. I think it was like $170 or around there. Now, electricity, for example, I'm coming again from Miami. Miami, I only paid like $40, $50 a month for electricity. In Atlanta, I'm paying over $100 every month. Like, literally. Moving on. The second thing we're going to talk about is safety. Now, when I first came to Atlanta, I looked at a bunch of YouTube videos. I did my research. I read articles. I checked the crime rate, things like that. And honestly, I was really scared. Like, based on what I was seeing on Instagram on, I think it's called like ATL Scoop. There was like car breaking after car breaking after car breaking, and like this theft and breaking and this and that. So honestly, I was like, oh my God, my car is about to get broken into. Like, this is just the norm. Like, this was going to happen. I was scared, right? But honestly, knock on wood, that hasn't happened to me yet. I do have a Ring camera. I really highly suggest you get a Ring camera if you don't have that. But I have a Ring camera, and they have like notifications that tell people like what's going on in the neighborhood. And there is still a lot of like car break-ins, and more so house break-ins than apartment break-ins. But nonetheless, be careful. Safety is a huge thing here. One thing I recommend is to get some type of pepper spray, a taser, maybe something a little stronger, if you know what I mean, something a little more protective. I definitely suggest that for Atlanta. I did have a weird situation, and I get to that in another video, but there was definitely somebody that was trying to get into my apartment at one point. So make sure that you are protected. Another thing, this is like a little thing, but when it comes to safety, there's also what a lot of people don't really talk about, a lot of animals around here, because, you know, Atlanta does have a lot of nature, which is understandable. But like, I've seen coyotes, I've seen foxes, like just out and about, like in the street, in the parking lot. Deers I've seen. So really make sure you're careful, not only for people, but for animals, because they are out here. All right, let's get into friends and like the social life here. In Atlanta, when it comes to friends, I personally feel like the girls here are actually pretty welcoming. Maybe it's because I came from living in Miami and the girls were a little bit standoffish. So the girls in Atlanta are actually pretty welcoming. I feel like it's not super hard to make friends in Atlanta as long as you surround yourself in the right places and with the people that you want to be around. I feel like it'll be very easy to make friends here. So far, I've met a great tribe. I made a great group of friends. So I think Atlanta's a great place to network and meet a lot of great people. However, quick side note, you also have to be careful when making friends in Atlanta. I wouldn't say that this has happened a lot, but when I've been in certain spaces, especially when it comes to like me going to certain jobs, I've noticed that some people are a little bit on the clout chasing train, if you know what I mean. Like, there was this one instance where this guy was like asking us all questions. Like, we had just started and he was like asking us a bunch of questions. Oh, what do you guys do outside of work? And, you know, where are you guys from? And, you know, we're like, oh, I'm thinking, you know, it's just casual. And by the end of the conversation, he's like, well, I'm a rapper. Like, can y'all go listen to my music? Can y'all subscribe to my channel? Can y'all? Like, dang, I thought you was trying to be cool. So, I don't know. That was like the second time that happened. And I was like, all right, I need to make sure that I'm a little bit, just be mindful when you are talking to people. Make sure that it sounded like it's for the right reasons, because you don't want people where it's like they making it seem like, you know, it's cool and it's a like friend thing and it's casual, and then it's like by the end of the conversation they're expecting something out of it, and it's like the whole time that's what it was. So be wary of that. Now, one thing that I love, which is like one of my favorite parts about Atlanta when it comes to the social life, is you are going to see so many successful people of color. Like, everywhere you go, there's not going to be a room where there's like not a person of color, especially like Black people. Like, you gonna walk into big rooms and there's always going to be a Black person there. Like, I love that. There's something to do for everybody here. There's literally something for everybody. If you like going to festivals, there's going to be an event with festivals. If you like art, there's going to be a bunch of art events going on. If you like, I don't know, wine tasting, there's going to be wine tasting for you. If you like going out and partying, there's going to be that for you. There's literally something for everyone. If you like going to church on Sunday, it's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. I love that. So another thing that we're going to talk about that when I came here, a lot of people weren't talking about, is when it comes to health. So one thing I noticed in Atlanta, it was actually really hard to find like a doctor, a PCP in Atlanta. And then even when I had insurance through my job, I would like call to like, you know, try to find a PCP, a primary care physician. And it would say on the website they're accepting new patients, but once you call, they would be like, oh, we're not accepting anyone new. That is something that you have to be mindful of here. It's going to be pretty hard to find a like doctor. Same thing with dentists. It was so hard for me to find a dentist. I don't know, maybe it was the time I came was like a tight time. I don't know what was going on, but I just know it took me a while to find a doctor and dentist here. So keep that in mind. All right, the next thing we are going to talk about is the dating life. How is it dating in Atlanta? It's very interesting.
Interesting.
I like to go on cutesy little dates. And, you know, coming from Miami, it was kind of interesting. I feel like there's a lot of flexers in Miami, so it's kind of hard to exactly say how it really went down. But in Atlanta so far, it's been interesting. Now, I will say, I think Atlanta, a lot of the men here really appreciate black women. Like, anytime I'm like walking into a room, or anytime me and my friends are like going somewhere, like, we get noticed. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because, again, that I came from Miami. I don't know, that wasn't as much of a thing here. But like, they be checking for you. They be checking for you in Atlanta. So when you walk into a room and like you looking good, you're gonna get noticed. And I wouldn't necessarily say, I would say the men are bold in Atlanta. You know how you go to certain cities and men will like look at you, or like they'll give you the look, or you know, they'll do those little subtle hints, but they want to approach you. In Atlanta, they will approach you. They don't care. They will approach you. They coming up. What you doing? Where we going? What's your name? I'm like, oh, y'all are bold. So they will approach you. Now, one thing I will say about the dating pool in Atlanta is it's very small. Like, if you're a woman looking for other men, it's a really small pool. Like, there's way more single women in Atlanta than there are single men. So it's like, I don't know. I think they understand that they have a lot of options because there's so many women, and they move accordingly, which I noticed. They be giving like the bare minimum. Like, I've gone on a few dates where, you know, they know what the fuck going on. Like, when I lived in DC, they knew what was going on. They knew you gotta come correct. Here, I don't know, it's kind of like they be giving them, like, they don't really be planning stuff out, like, and when they do even, like, try to plan it out, it's just, like, not the best. Like, there was also a situation where I almost got scammed. I'm gonna dive deeper in that in another video, but just know you gotta be careful out here. Like, I've, you know, been on the apps, and there's not a lot of high caliber men, I'd say, especially on the apps. Like, there's men that be like, okay, like, but you really have to like swipe through before you find like some gems, you know what I mean? So yeah, make sure that you are vetting them out, because even if you know, seeing your location, meet at a public place, they be trying some sneaky little stuff. And I'm sure you've heard about the scams that it's been in Atlanta. I almost got scammed. So I'm just saying, be very mindful of that, because they are really sneaky. Like, all right, well, that is all I have for now. I hope you stayed to the end of the video and that you learned a little bit more about moving to Atlanta. Please comment if you have any questions. Like, hit that thumbs up button, and yeah, I'll see you in another video. Bye, girlies.
Close your eyes to get away. Just make my mind and I know.